Alright, hello everyone. My name is Azam, I'm Malaysian. You've read the title. Let's go.
Malaysia is located in Southeast Asia, divided into two main parts. Peninsular Malaysia, where about 40% of land, which also has the southernmost tip of mainland Asia, Tanjung Piai, while East Malaysia, or Malaysian Borneo, takes about 60% of the country's land on the island of Borneo, making it one of the only two islands shared by three nations along with Cyprus.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how island can be separated into different countries, right? It's kind of weird.
However, the island of Sebatik is a little bigger, but the island is split in half with Indonesia in the south.
Honestly, I didn't even know about this Sebatik island, that it's separated in two. So thanks, Barbs.
So they have a little bit of a dispute with the Philippines in the east.
So when Malaysia was formed in 1963, we had some disagreements with our neighbors, namely Philippines and Indonesia. So Philippines say Sabah was part of the Sulu Sultanate, and of course Sulu Sultanate is also fell into the jurisdiction of the Philippines. So there was this disagreement from Philippines, and as far as in Indonesian, they say Malaysia itself is a form of neo-colonialism, that kind of stuff. But of course, unfortunately, those kind of sentiments are no longer around, generally speaking. But as of the date of this recording, it's 26 September. Lately and previously, the Philippine foreign minister said, "Oh, we should make an office to get back Sabah or something," but that's pretty much an isolated case. I think everything is okay between Malaysia and Philippines.
With the capital Kuala Lumpur, however, due to overcrowding, almost all the government ministries and administrative offices were moved to Putrajaya in 1999.
So Putrajaya is like this big beautiful city with many big beautiful buildings that houses important ministries. But the city itself, not many people live there, because the people who live there are mainly government servants. So yeah, Putrajaya is known as this place where not much people live in. But it's a pretty city, so yeah.
Malaysia lies under the South China Sea. If you don't know anything about this place, and if you didn't watch the Brunei episode, it basically goes like this.
Very accurate. China is basically saying like the whole South China Sea is like their sea under the 9-dash line, which is pretty much BS since it's so far from the country itself. But yeah, every country in SEA wants a piece of South China Sea, which is understandable.
You have too many Chinese people, and you're gonna waste my money!
Yeah, well, you only get privileges to the Malays!
You know what? You're out of the club.
Yeah, fine, whatever. I quit. One day, you know what? I'm gonna make something of myself!
Okay!
And boy howdy, did they keep that promise.
Somewhat accurate. Actually, Singapore didn't say like, I quit. Actually, our first Prime Minister, Tunku Abdul Rahman, said basically he kicked out Singapore from the whole Malaysian Federation. But of course, yeah, Singapore is doing much better than Malaysia, so that's that.
Some notable places of interest might include places like Legoland Malaysia. Yep, they have one.
And I haven't been there to Legoland, even though it's already there for so long. I just heard that the tickets are really pricey though.
The Leaning Tower of Teluk Intan,
Also known as the Malaysian version of the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
the cat statue of Kuching,
Kuching literally means cat in Malay, so pretty much explains why it's a cat statue. So yeah, we have a city named after internet's most favorite animal.
If any earthquakes occur, Indonesia usually absorbs all of it. If cyclones and tropical storms attack, the Philippines and Indonesia take the hit. And if a volcano erupts, they don't have to worry because they don't really have any volcanoes, and it's probably happening in Indonesia.
Yeah, this is kind of true, but we're not exactly totally shielded from natural disasters. Like for example, during the 2004 tsunami, we also took a hit. Like dozens of people died, but of course, it's still minuscule compared to what the Indonesians had to go through. As for earthquake, the most recent earthquake was 5 years ago in 2015 at Sabah. A magnitude of 6.0 earthquake, which is to date is the worst earthquake in Malaysia's history. Yeah, so yeah, we're not exactly totally safe from natural disasters. Plus, we have a lot of floods. There's that.
Peninsular Malaysia is home to the most black panthers in the world.
I didn't know we have a lot of black panthers. I thought tigers is our thing, but okay.
Otherwise, they have elephants, rhinos.
Unfortunately, the last rhinos in Malaysia have died back in November 2019. So I'm sad to say that this animal is now extinct in Malaysia, and the few that are left, the very few, those are in our neighboring country, Indonesia.
They have the largest chamber in the world that can be found in Sarawak.
I know about this cave, but I haven't been there. I mean, I should go there soon.
They're actually the second largest palm oil producer in the world and the largest condom maker, just saying.
I think a lot of Malaysians still don't know we're the biggest condom manufacturer in the world. But I think a lot of Malaysians know that we are the biggest manufacturer of rubber gloves in the world. So both are rubber products, so I guess it makes sense. I don't know.
Some national dishes might include things like nasi kandar, nasi dadang.
Nasi dagang, D-A-G-A-N-G.
Oh, and if you have the chance, see if you can witness the famous Tariq Tea shows. The servers pour out tea, sometimes over 1 meter in length. It's almost seen as like an art form.
Man, there used to be like TV shows about this. You know, contestants would like do crazy teh tarik shows, you know, but those TV shows are no longer here. They should bring it back. I don't know why don't they stop it.
They use the Malaysian ringgit as their currency.
I can see you have a collection of old and new notes here. I can see 1 ringgit blue notes and the 5 ringgit green notes. So yeah.
These 9 states each have a royal leader known as a sultan, and every 5 years they rotate to allow one of the 9 sultans to rule as head king, known as the Yang di Pertuan Agong. That means that technically, if you were a boy and your dad just finished being king for his 5-year term, you could be the next one, but you would have to wait at least 40 years for it to happen. You know, since 8 other kings would have to be king before you.
You know, this is a really nice graphic for the whole rotating wheel, showing Sultan taking turns to become the Yang di Pertuan Agong. I think this is pretty cool. I wish they could have shown me this in school. It's really interesting. Also, yeah, we have 9 Sultan. Yeah, kind of mind-boggling because many countries have like 1 king or 1 sultan, but we have like 9. So the idea is that before Malaysia was formed, so if we look at the peninsular, we have 9 states. Of course, at that time there's no Malaysia yet, so it's not like a unified thing. So each one of these states has their own sultan. And when Malaysia was formed, we decided just to keep with the sultan. The sultan should stay. But of course, like the actual, you know, the ones leading our country is still our prime minister and the cabinet. The sultans are just there for like Barb say here, religious affairs and cultural affairs and appointing prime ministers, that kind of stuff.
Most recent controversy, the 2018 election. This effectively changed everything, as for the first time since 1957, the BN party was voted out and the new PKR party took over. And it was actually a peaceful transition. We really don't have a lot of time to talk about it, but it's really interesting to look into and talk to a Malaysian person if you want to know more about it. It was like a huge deal for the country.
Oh man, this video does not age well. So at the time of making this video, September 2020, so the political coalition that won the 2018 general election, the Pakatan Harapan, they are, as of right now, they are no longer the government, because earlier this year, in February 2020, the Barisan Nasional, the BN government, which lost the 2018 election, came back. So they are again, right, they are the government, and the way they get back the power isn't exactly democratic, and there's a lot of like, you know, politicians jumping sides and all that crap. So yeah, so BN is back and with some new friends. Usually this kind of thing would trigger like massive resistance or protest, but you know, when this happened, the COVID-19 pandemic was like gaining traction. So I think many Malaysians were like, you know what, let's just go with it, and right now the priority is to contain the disease, to not let the disease spread. So we just, I guess Malaysians just roll with this new government there. If you're interested to read more about it, I'll leave a link to the Wikipedia page below. It's called the 2020 Malaysian Political Crisis.
Malay is basically intelligible to Indonesian. Both countries can generally understand each other.
Yep, we enjoy a lot of Indonesian TV shows, movies and music, and I believe Indonesians enjoy ours as well.
Sometimes Indonesians do kind of accuse Malaysians of stealing their culture because a lot of Malaysians are descended from Sumatra.
Yeah, this happens a lot. So if you can understand Malaysian or Indonesian, you can check the comment section of the Geography Now Malaysia video, and then you can see it like Malaysians and Indonesians talking crap about each other. But usually these are just like, keyboard warrior stuff. It's just like, I guess I would say friendly banter, I think. And I mean, in the end, we all acknowledge we call it serumpun. So basically, we're closely related.
Although the country's official religion is Islam, it's a multi-confessional nation. Buddhists are mostly from the Chinese community, Hindus for the Indians, Christians from all races.
We also have a lot of public holidays because we have a lot of religions in the country. So even if only 7% of Malaysians celebrate Deepavali, for example, the whole Malaysia gets a day off regardless of race or religion or whether you celebrate it. And also some states, like in Sabah and Sarawak, they have their own religious holidays as well. So yeah.
I still have the hat and I love it, and I told you I would wear it in the episode, so here I am. I'm wearing it in the Malaysia episode. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, that tengkolok looks good on you, man. You should wear that more often.
The EU has good relations, making Malaysia one of the top 3 trading partners of Southeast Asia. And
yeah, EU-Malaysia trade relations I think are generally good, but in the last few years there have been some setbacks because EU decided to use less palm oil, and of course Malaysia being a prime exporter of palm oil, if EU decided to do that, our palm oil industry would would be very much affected. But I'm not sure how that turns out right now, but I think generally the EU-Malaysia relations is okay.
UK is still pretty close. As a former colony, much of the cultural residue is still evident to this day. They are one of the Commonwealth of Nations. Many Malaysians live in the UK.
Yeah, so I have many Malaysian friends who live in the UK, and they all say Malaysians aren't exactly rare in the UK. Like in any part of the United Kingdom, there's probably a big Malaysian community there. So yeah, there's a lot.
Thailand has a few issues since there are those Malay Patani separatists in the south that keep protesting.
Yeah, that's interesting, but it's not like, these southern Thailand extremists want to join Malaysia or whatever. It's just that, from what I understand, they want to be separated from Thailand as a country, and like they want to make their own government, I guess. But lately, the region has been relatively quiet. I mean, there's still some unfortunate incidents here and there, but there have been louder incidents like in the early 2000s, but now I hope it's okay in southern Thailand.
When it comes to their best friends, however, most Malaysians I've talked to have said Indonesia and Singapore. Singapore may have left the Malaysian Union, but they still kept close ties as a sovereign state. They are quite cooperative in business, and even culturally, they are very similar, with noticeable Chinese and Indian minority enclaves. Indonesia is like the big brother that has a very different political system, but in the end, they cannot deny how alike they are.
Yeah, so definitely. So Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia we're very similar, and I would say we're like different countries just because we're colonized by different powers. So like, the British colonized Malaysia and the Dutch colonized Indonesia. So I think that's the main reason why we're two separate countries. But at the end of the day, we speak the same language, eat the same food. So yeah, these 3 countries, and I should also add Brunei, I guess. We're very close. Like, we shouldn't like fight each other and that kind of stuff. So yeah, alright, it's a good video, Barbs. I'm a big fan of geography now. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.